Hello everyone, welcome back to ARCHI Tools. In this video, we are going to learn Twinmotion in Revit completely from scratch, including how to use live sync between Revit and Twinmotion so that both softwares work together in real time. I guarantee you, if you watch this video from start to end, you will learn Twinmotion from zero to pro level in a very simple and practical way. Also, for your ease of learning, I have added topic timestamps in the video so you can directly jump to any particular topic anytime. So without wasting any time, let's start the tutorial. So the good thing about Twinmotion is that it comes free with after installing Revit. So this in newer versions you would find once you go into view, you would get the icon for the Twinmotion. But in order to open this, firstly you need to make sure that you are in 3D. Otherwise, if I go to in any of the floor plans and show it to you, if I go into this Twinmotion, it is not selectable. So first of all, you need to go into one of the 3Ds, and after that, just click on this Open in Twinmotion. If Twinmotion is not installed, which is the current condition for me, so I have to install it first of all. So it is asking me to go to the Autodesk account. Now, once I have signed in, so I can search Twinmotion, and you would be getting this Twinmotion for Revit. Just click on this access. It will show move us to the Twinmotion website, and I have to accept just a few conditions. And next it will ask for the system. It is showing for the system requirements, and here we have the files to be downloaded for Revit. So mine is Revit 2024. For that, Twinmotion that needs to be installed is Twinmotion 2023.2.3. So I'll just go ahead and download this. You have to follow the same process as I am doing right now, displayed in the video. After my installation process is done, I can go on to the view, and in Twinmotion, once I open Twinmotion, now this type of toolbar will appear, and it will first of all ask me whether this is an existing project. If I have anything already made in Twinmotion, I can click on this existing project. But since we need to create a new project, so I'll select this one, and the options are I prefer the default modes. For the collapse, keep hierarchy is fine. But if you select collapse by material, so every element is defined based on the material type. So let's say we have two different items, whether be it a table and the other is a uh, chair, but the material is same. So we would be able to select the elements at which have the same material at once. So I prefer to keep hierarchy, which is replicating the current condition of our project, and it will work based on the different families and so on. So I'll keep this full precision UA. Let's keep these options as it is, and just click on OK after that. Now, before getting into how we can just work on the Twinmotion, first understand what is the user interface inside this Twinmotion to help us work in a more smooth way. So in the center part, we have the working area where we can use the WASD and the gaming, basically the gaming keys to move back and forth, to move up and down using the keys. And also you can use your scroll bar to zoom in and zoom out. For panning, you can use this left mouse button. And for right mouse button, this is just a rotation like this. So once this is our working area, now talking about all the other interfaces, what this does is on the left hand side, we have libraries. So the materials, vegetations, objects, the environments, everything comes from this part. So this is the most used part that we'll be using inside the Twinmotion. Now comes on the top portion. Here we have visual movement, orientation, and the pick material keys, and we would be using them in a quick manner. So it is given because of this, so as to make our workflow a little bit quick. Now here is the full toggle mode of the screen. If I click on this, it will show a zoom in picture of our work plane, where the all the modeling and the visualization happens. If you want to go back, just again click on this and you will be able to go back and see all the libraries and other options. Now this I button over here, I don't use it a lot, but for the understanding, this is setting of your time and date. You can set your time from this. So yes, you do use these options, but in a initial stage only. And this is the fly speed. So currently it is at dry speed. If you select this fly speed, this is somewhat, this makes our speed of movement much faster. And if you select any other speed, handle speed to things like that would be working in this. And we have options for VR. We have option here for pedestrian mode. If I click on this, it will move me to the pedestrian mode, and I have to use my keys in order to move over here. Now the next thing in this is, which I find it important, is this visual appearance. So you can go directly on the plan view by just clicking on this top, and it will be a orthographic view, just to have a visual appearance of what is happening inside. And you can just go back to your 3D views by clicking on this part, and it will move you to the 3D part. The lower left portion is, you can just tick and untick to widen your scope of working by unticking the library. And this is for the stats. So stat shows your quality of your system while operating in Twinmotion. So you can have a basic idea of how your computer is responding with the Twinmotion. I'd like to keep this off mostly. In below portion, we have options for importing. Once you click on this, you have, so I have imported and linked it with the Revit model. So Revit is imported over here. And this one is for the materials. We have so many kinds of materials that is inbuilt here. You can just select any one material, drag and drop to any desired entity to just provide your material. I'll control Z. This works over here also. Next is the populate option. You can populate uh, based on various options. We'll discuss about this in detail. Uh, this is the media. Here you can insert your more screens, and you can create your videos and panoramic views from over here. And at last, this is the export options for your video as well as the images. Here in the right hand side is the scene. So all the elements which are placed currently in model, it is based shown based on the scene. You can just untick on this I button to hide this from the model. And also this toolbar is helpful for getting to know about the materials. Once I select the speaker option and go on to selecting any material, it will show the details of that material. So these are all the details related to the materials, and you can edit the material. Now I'll talk about how linking is happening inside Twinmotion and Revit. So as you know, we have just linked everything from this Revit, and model has been linked over here, but it is based on live syncing also. So if I change anything, let's say I am moving this tree from this part to this part, and I want this change to happen in my Twinmotion as well. So I'll first of all just go to this pedestrian mode to drone mode, so that I can move more freely. So I have changed this position of this tree, but it is not reflecting over here. It's because this is currently not like live synced. So in order to live sync this, you just need to go into view again, and in this Twinmotion we have synchronize option. You can use this, and once you have synchronized, let's go into Twinmotion to see if any changes happened. So you can see that tree's position has changed now, and it has synced with the Revit model. Now if you don't want to sync every time after editing, you can go to the auto sync option, but be aware of that, because that this live syncing is only beneficial when there is multiple work going on in the Revit and you want it to reflect in Twinmotion as well. Otherwise, it will just lag your project speed. So better not to use this. If there is very minor change, you can use the synchronize option. Now I'll go into Twinmotion. This is one of the way. And also, if I would like to talk about the materials, let's start with this tree only. So this tree is okay if I talk about the Revit elevations and basic 3D views. But in terms of render, this Revit tree is not suitable. So I want to replace this tree from the material vegetation tree I have in my library currently. So you can replace the current tree from the Revit without changing the anything from the Revit model, and you can just get a replacement of this Revit tree. So I have selected this. Now I'm going to the scene and I have three dots over here. Just click on that. We have an option to replace object over here. Select this and it will ask for the entity from which you want to replace it. Select any of the tree and drop it to the location. And you can click on start replacement after that. Now, after the tree has been placed, you can change its size by aging it more. So the size will increase. If you age it less, so its size will decrease. Similar way, I can do this for this one also. Selecting the three dots, using the replace option, dragging and dropping it, and click on start replacement. Let's change its size a little bit. And similar way, I can do this for the other ones as well. You can see this ground over here is penetrating to our model, and it is covering a little bit of portion of our model. So what I would like to do is, first of all, just go into this move mode, and after that, you can click anywhere on the ground, and you will get this movement move cursor. So you can move it above and below by long pressing the left mouse button. So I think this much movement is enough. And yes, if you want to change the material, currently the material is little bit about a tile. It won't matter with the renders, but if you want to, if you're not happy with the look, you can just go ahead with the materials and search for any materials, whichever material you like. So I'm just going to the ground and see what options do we have. So I think this grass is looking a little bit patchy, and I think that this grass would be good. So I what I need to do is I just need to drag it to the position where I want to provide my material, and it will change. Now, talking about adjusting the materials, we have on the right hand side, we can adjust the materials. Let's discuss the editing of materials now. I'll be going to select one of the materials by using the picker option, and I'll select this material. And now I'm going to select mode, press this icon. I think my speed is quite fast, so I'll change the speed to dry speed. And let's go a little bit closer towards this material. Okay, this would be fine. Now, if I increase the grunge, you can see a little bit of weathering is occurring onto this surface. So based on your requirement, you can use the grunge. And this luminosity is related to the brightness. So if I decrease this luminosity, you can see the color is fading to black. So you can adjust this. Next comes if I click on details. So you can adjust the saturation level of this material, gamma, and lift, gain. So these are all hidden trial methods you can work upon. Now this is related to the scaling and rotation. So if this wasn't tiled, then scaling would be more clear to you. So let's select this material over here, grass material, and let's for showing you, if I'm scaling, you can see that the size of the grass pattern is changing. So this is what happens with the scaling. If I check the rotation, this is also related to the rotation of the any pattern which we have. So you can see the grass over here. If I'm rotating it, it is somewhat rotating based on the degree. So this is related to that. Now next is stretch on the x. So we have two axes for the tiles, x and y. You can stretch it on the both the ends, x and y axis. It is for that, and the other is for the offset. So these are all related to the tiled patterns or any kind of pattern we have. This is the roughness. You can decrease or increase the roughness of any material. I don't want this to be metallic. I can keep this as metallic if you want. Okay, so let's provide some materials into a model. So I'll select material, and for glass, I'm just clicking on glass. We have various options. So I'll use this reflective glass and drag and drop to my glass part. Now coming on to the frames part, I'm using one of the metals. So let's select this worn chrome, and I'll be using over here. So once I'm selecting, you can see the material has been changed. I can, since this, I think this is a different family, so I again need to change the material for this. I'm dragging, dropping over here, and same for the glass. I have to again go to the materials, use this reflective glass, drag it to the part where I want this reflective glass. Okay, for the roofs, let's see what we have for the roof coverings. Let's select this one. The scaling is quite less in this. In the scale options, I'll just increase this scale. I think this looks fine. Now coming on to the other options, that is roughness. So this is basically related to the roughness of your material. If you increase or decrease it, the roughness of the material adjust accordingly. The other thing is metallic, that is also showing the metalness of that material. So if you want to increase the shininess, luster, all that related to what is for a metal, so you can change the metallic nature of any material just by using this cursor. Now comes this normal part. Normal is what is related to your bumps which you are currently seeing, and the 3D look which you are able to get from an image. So the bump is somewhat an image like this in blue, and based on that your material is provided. We'll also discuss how you can import a new material and work upon that, but first let's get into the different details of it. The other option is the emissive. Emissive is related to the glue of material. If I increase this emissiveness, the material would be a glowing element emitting light from itself. So this one would be useful while working in the interiors lighting. I'll keep this off right now. The other is masking. You can use an unused mask. This also is not currently related to my particular intent. The other is X-ray. If I click on X-ray, it will show the inside part of my building. So while working, you might require to use this X-ray option. Otherwise, I don't think it is of the render purpose use. Next comes the miscellaneous. So in order to explain these two options, I'll just go into the library and select my primitive objects. Let's select a plane, uh, somewhat over here, and I'll select a sphere. Let's go a little bit closer to the material. All right. So I'll just go to the picker material to select the material, and now I'll use these two options. So two-sided means in case you have applied an object and you want to see both the sides of it. What I mean with this is I'll just go ahead and select my one of the materials that is related to the grids. So it's like a metal mesh. I'm selecting this and dragging it to my sphere. So you can see that the material has changed, but I'm not able to see, since this material is a transparent item. It is half visible to the other side. I'm not able to see the other side of the sphere, which would also be in the same material. So in such cases, you might need to just select this two-sided option in order to see the whole dimensions of this sphere. The other is relating to the weather. So what this means is I'll just go again on my materials and select one of the materials. Let's select a stone this time. So if I'm using the weather ticked option, what this happens is it will behave according to the weather. So if my environment, I'll just go to the environment. We'll discuss about this how you can change the environment. But the thing is that if I change my weather to some rainy season or somewhat like this, okay, let's decrease the speed to handle speed. You can see the droplets falling and all that. So this material is correctly acting according to the weather. So this what means if I select the weathering option on. If I just untick from here, you won't be able to see the change in weather, and it is not affecting the material. So this is the difference between those two options. So we have discussed all the properties related to the materials. Now we'll just go ahead and create one new material. So let's say you are not able to find your particular material inside this library, and you want to export it from various websites. The thing you should keep in mind while importing any of the image from your websites is that you should have at least three images with you. One is related to the material itself, the other is related to the roughness, and the one is related to the bump, that is the normal image that I have just shared it with you. So I've downloaded a material from one of the websites that has this normal, and NOR is written for that. We have the color one, which is the actual JPEG file, that is seamless JPEG file of that material, and one is for the roughness, this one. So we'll just go ahead and create a new material. For that, I have to go below this portion in the material section, and we have a plus icon over here. I'll just click on add. A new material will be added over here. I'll rename this. Let's name it as wall texture. And now we'll play and provide the image inside that. So once I've selected this im- material over here, the properties of that material would be appearing on my right hand side. For the color, I will just click on this details icon. I will click on this texture, and I will click on open. I'll select my that image with the actual color and all that stuffs. So this is my main image of the material, and this preview icon will also get changed. Now I'll go to the roughness, click on details, and then the textures. Again, I'll just click on open and load that roughness image. And at last, at normal, I'll go inside, and in the details, I'll just open and provide the normal map. Now let's go ahead in the library and select a sphere from the primitive objects. So for this material to place, I'll just drag and drop it over here. And now you can see the actual color, the image which we have provided, that is in a good condition, and it has a 3D look. So my normal is acting correctly. It has a little bit of roughness. So my roughness image is also working, and the image itself is working fine. So in this way, you can provide your image and create your new image, and you can adjust the properties of it just by going inside from various options over here. Now we will talk about lighting in Twinmotion. So one way of lighting is using the natural sunlight, and the other way is using the artificial lighting. We'll just discuss it one by one. First of all, let's look into the natural sun lighting. So here we have the sunlight occurring, and in order to adjust the sunlight, you just need to go into scene and select this ambience option. And after once we select it, into the environment, I can see time of the day that I can adjust. So based on that, the position of sun will change. If I go into the details, you can also adjust the intensity of the sun using this cursor, and you can also change the size of the sun that will affect the intensity. It's better I don't to change this in a lot more fashion, because this will affect the intensity. Like as you can see, this is too bright. So I can undo this. So to keep the actual settings in a normal mode. Next is the sun's reflection. So in order to show this option, I'll just go below and I will change the weather to my cloudy and then to rainy season. So you can see that a little bit of raindrops have fallen below, and I'll just move a little bit closer just to show it to you. Next is the sun's reflection. You can adjust the amount of reflection it is occurring on the various surfaces just by adjusting the sun's reflection. Now, next is the moon intensity. So currently I'm in the day render. I have to go to the night time to show you the moon intensity. Now you can see that the change is not happening gradual. That's because my SDRI environment is currently set on. So I'll just go drop below, and in the enable of SDRI environment, I'll just untick this. Now this values which I'm using is applicable because SDRI environment is disabled right now. Now you can adjust the moon intensity also. Once you adjust its brightness in the night time, just changes. Stars intensity can also be changed, but yes, you can see once I'm changing the intensity of the star, you can see the amount of stars is increasing and you are able to see them. I would like to keep these also in the default mode, but if you want to tweak it, that's up to you. Now this is the ambient lighting, is how you want your lighting shown to show all your materials inside where we have a little bit of shadow. So ambient lighting just works on those areas as well, providing a little bit of light. And here comes the white balance. You can decrease this white balance so it will get into bluer tone, or if you increase the tone, it will get warmer. So this is related, these all are were related to the environment of sun settings. Next is the exposure value. You can increase the exposure value to adjust the brightness. And yes, the auto exposure, if this is on, it takes into consideration whatever is best for the scene in auto mode. Next comes the local exposure. I haven't used it very much, but it's related to shadow boost, how much shadow is required. If I decrease this, this will increase or decrease. So these are all are part of the exposure only. Next comes the weather. If I change the weather, so it will rain, and if I just change the weather now, it will just come to the sunny part. And clouds also increase or decrease based on that. Similar way, this is also a part of weather, and it can create a winter season and a shady night. These are the details related to the fog and wind speed you can adjust. Now, if I enable the SDRI environment, so the environment would now act according to the SDRI which I have loaded. You can download various SDI environments just by going into library, and here we have option for downloading the SDRI environment. You can select this. So in this we have a subcategory related to sky. If you want to change, you can go into this. So we have options in the low sun also, in morning and afternoon, and in the noon. So we have, there is bifurcation in that. So this is clear sun. We have various options. So in order to use this SDRI, a particular SDRI environment, it should be first of all downloaded. Just just be aware of that, and you can drag and drop to the location. It will pick up the SDRI environment. Now you can see that some of the options, you can see this download options coming. So in order to download a particular SDRI, you first of all need to be logged in into the Epic Games app. So once you are logged in, this highlighting option, as it is shown in this particular video of mine, gets appeared, and you can just click on this to download it. So the sky has been changed. Next is the location of your sun. So this, if I drag my cursor onto this, orientation compass will appear showing the location of the north currently. You can rotate it, so the position of sun will rotate, and accordingly your light and shadows will change. You can get into the details also. Just select the month in which you are currently, and the intensity of the sun changes accordingly. And you can select your location also. So if you are in Delhi, so you can just search over here in Delhi, and the climate condition of that particular place will be captured. Now, talking about the SDRI setting. So in the ambience, we have an option for SDRI environment. If I enable this, the clouding and the background scene which has appeared from the setting which I have done in the ambience will get superimposed. So if I enable over here, so you can see the backdrop has changed. So and SDRI environment has been selected for the backdrop, and considering that it has taken the surrounding as well as the sky. Now, how you can change different kinds of SDRI images and how you can provide as per your requirements. So for that, you need to go inside the library, and here we have various options. We have skies, so we do have different kinds of skies. Whether you want it cloudy, you can go ahead and select it. Just to be aware that you can only drag and drop your sky or anything else uh, only in case if it is downloaded. So you have to just log in into the Epic Game software in order to download it, and you can drag and drop. So this was related to the sky. We also have related to the outdoors. Some SDRI environments are there. You can select any one of your choice and you can drag and drop it. All right. This is related to the horizon. So if I enable this, it will just add a little bit of uh, buildings and a horizon spread according to the image whatever I have selected. So currently City Island has been selected. You can just change also. Based on that, the skyline will change for the horizon. So I don't require it now because I don't think it is feasible in the current setting. So I'll just disable it. So we have summed up the ambience, how you can do the exterior lightings and work upon it. The next thing, which is an important part of the production, is setting of your scene and exporting images and videos of that render. So for the setting your scene, you need to go inside this media icon, and you can just like I have just selected various uh, scenes. I have just placed my scenes, and similarly I have placed my interior scene as well, and I have just using this scene only, I can just create a render of this particular image. And likewise in working, if I am at a particular drop, I can jump back to my first scene just by clicking onto it. So this is the use of scene. You can render it, or otherwise you can set a scene for moving you back to a particular location. In order to set your scene, you just need to go inside this media and select this. First of all, I'll just discuss about the image. So once I have gone inside this image, here a plus icon is appearing. I can click on plus and it will just take a snapshot. So just be aware where, let's say you want to have a scene from this view, looking over to the building. So I can press on plus, so it will just generate a scene from here. Now, if I go to any position now and I want to go back to that particular scene again, so I just need to click on that and it will go back to that first scene. Now, in order to just like say you were working and by mistake you understood that this scene setting is not correct, you want to change a little bit of settings, like as over here, you want to update the scene. So in order to update a particular scene, you just need to hover onto this image wherever you have set, and there a refresh option comes. You just need to press on that and the scene gets refreshed. Now if I press on that, it will show a refreshed image. We can do a lot of things inside our particular snapshot. One thing is that if I am into a particular snapshot, here you can see quit media mode is showing. That means any setting in the ambience, be it your time of the day, if I'm changing the time of the day, or so time of the day is not changing in this scene because SDRI image is logged back. I'm just checking my SDRI image to be black now. So I'm changing the time of the day to night over here. And just likewise, you can do a lot of stuff, changing the weather and all that. But these all are related to the ambience and nothing is being changed in the model. That's why the change which is happening right now, it's only for a particular snapshot, not for the whole model. So if I go to the other snapshot which I have just created, you see that it is the time for the day, not for the night. So if you're working inside a media mode, just select that snapshot and you can adjust the settings of it, be it ambience or a lot of we'll talk about a lot of other settings as well. So one was the ambience, the other is the camera settings. Here you can change the focal length of your camera. You, you can adjust it, how what depth you require for the image. You can adjust it from here, which is different. This is for this particular snapshot only. Similar way, you can just select this, and you can provide a lot of filters we have. So I'll just select this. Now I can go on FX. So we have this contrast and saturation. That is pretty much clear how the contrast and saturation works. You can adjust it for this particular image. And we have some color gradients. Here you can work with the colors. You can tweak a little bit with the colors, and you can select any particular tone for your render. All right, so this was related to your color gradient. I'll just hit the none key again to go back. Now we have also a filter option for the snapshots. So if I click on this, we have a lot of render filters. So when we have, if I show you, this is a ballpoint pen filter. You can check it out. And we have some blueprint printer. This is very much commonly used for the presentation stuffs. So similar way, we have some options, and this one is a comic filter, and this one is a sketchy filter. It looks like I have done by using a pencil. So yes, you can do a lot of stuff within that particular image by filtering it out or using a color overlay. I'll just hit this to none again. Other than these two options, the filters related to color gradient and filter, we also have an option for clay render. So what this does is it takes the whole model, and just provides a certain color to it. It doesn't show any material of that building. So why this clay render is required? In the initial stages of your designing a building, most of the times you are unaware of the materials which you are going to use, and you are basically more concerned of how the shape will just look, and how play of light and shadows will work in that sense. So yes, in that cases you can use clay renders to showcase your monolithic structure, and just get a hold of how your structure will look in a more focused way. So we'll work upon the clay render. I'll show you how this works. So if I click on this clay render, I have to first of all take on this. Now it will, now let's change the time of the day. So I'll go to environment and I'll select a day render. I think this would be better because interior lights were coming from this. We'll talk about the interior lights as well. Now I'll go to my FX, and since clay render is on, I can change the color of this model also. And we have some options related to the clay render. So let's say in your clay render, you don't want to have uh, same color for the glasses. You can keep the original texture of the glass just by unticking this. So every element which is related to the glass just gets away from the clay render. Similarly, for the plants and the vegetations, you can untick this, keeping off the characters. So in this way, you can just play out with the clay renders as well. So this is related to setting of your image. Now we'll talk about setting of your videos. So for setting your videos, you have to provide snapshots of various points, and it will just connect the snapshots in a displacement mode so that you can get a video of it. So how this works? So I'll start with over here, and I will click on plus. Now I'm going to the next position over here, and I can, since I want to continue this video, I have to press on plus again. This is the next position of my snapshot. I can go a little bit towards this side, looking onto this building, and again I can press on plus. Now I can go inside again. So we have to connect the dots, and finally I'm inside, and I can press on plus. So you can just keep on adding your snapshots, and once you're done, I'll just go back to my first image, and I can check my how my video working is there. So I could just need to press on plus, this play button, and it will move, connecting all the snapshots. All right. So this was related to adding snapshots and having a video of it. So this was in a continuous flow. What if you want to jump to a particular view in this same image? You don't want your video to move in a continuous manner. So how you can do that? So we have gone to this interior view. Now let's go to the other view, that is, yeah, this living image. So I want my continuation of my video, but don't want this displacement to occur. Otherwise, it will look very shabby. So what I need to do is I need to jump my video to this particular scene, and I want to continue from that. In order to jump your scene, you need not to go to this plus icon over here. Instead, you have to click on this plus icon on the top. So it adds a separate video part that is still a part of the video, but it will just jump to this view. So if I just continue my video, again, I have to set my scene and I'm moving to different locations. Now let's go here, again add, and just going a little bit back, overlooking the building. I want to end up till here. All right. Now, if I just play my video from the start, let's see how it works. So this was my first part of the video where I was overlooking the exterior. Then I have went inside this portion. Now I have just jumped onto the living part and continued from that video. All right. Now you can just adjust the speed of your video by adjusting this seconds on top. Currently 10 seconds has been set up for this video part 2. For video part 1, if I go back and show you, it is also for 10 seconds. You can just increase or decrease, and the speed of your movement will be adjusted accordingly. So this was related to your setting of your video. Coming on to the artificial lighting. So for that, we need to first of all just place our lights in the Revit itself in terms of the model part. So that it's better to provide your IES lighting inside your Twinmotion. I'll just go inside one of the views to show you. So in Revit, already model of the lights has been placed inside. So you can just follow the same process and provide your lights in Revit. We have various models for the lightings. Currently track lights have been placed over here. And once you have placed your lights, you can go inside this lighting type and you can turn off the voltage inside this Revit model so that it won't hamper inside your Twinmotion modeling while you are rendering it. Now in Twinmotion, first of all, I would like to set my scene so that I'm able to just move back to my original position wherever I get lost while working inside my Twinmotion. So I have just gone and created my image, and now I can work on the lightings are which we are able to see from the Revit model, but it's not emitting light currently. So for providing your IES drop, you have to go inside this library, select the lights, and here we have various options for the IES modes. You can choose any of the mode which is relevant to your particular lighting. So let's say this is your suitable one. So you can drag and drop to your focus position. Now this has been placed, but if you want to move or rotate this, so currently only move option is there and you can only rotate it from one of the X and Y axis. So this is for rotation, this part. All right. So if I want to rotate it, if I want to move it, I have to go inside this yellow part in the center. I can move it just by long pressing the and left mouse button and dragging it. If I want to rotate it in the 360 manner, I have to choose this rotate option over here. Now these three circles up here, semicircles, this means that I am able to rotate it. So I'll just bring down the light of ambience a little bit so it is more clear to you. Yeah, this much sun is fine. Now I'm rotating it and the IES would change. You can see below. Now I have placed my one of the light. Now the next thing, I'll just again go to my move mode. Next thing would be copying this particular light to all the other light sources. So for copying this, I can press the shift key and drag my center point of that light into the direction where I want to provide my light. So for copying, we will be showing as a dialog box. We have two options. One is the instance, and the other is copy. So instance is required wherever we require that uh, any particular instance is relatable. So showing an example to you is, if I have placed this light and I am changing the color temperature of it, the color temperature for both the lights are changing, not only one. So if I'm changing using the instance option and copying it, the change, if we are providing any change to a particular light, it will reflect on all the lights. So in this particular case, I would require that. So I'll be using this option. Now, if I show you the other way of copying it, I'll just again press the shift key and drag it to my other location. Just be aware of the direction where you are dragging. So instead of instance, this time I'll show the copy option. In this copy option, if you're copying any element, then the change would be for that individual element only whenever you make any change. It is not like the instance. So below we have the count, how many count you require to copy. So currently I require only one. And the spacing, currently in default mode, it is showing up till where I have dragged this copy mode. So currently it is 2.78. I think the position is correct. So I'll just keep it as it is and press on OK. Now, since this is in copy mode, so if I change the color temperature of this, you can see the change is not happening to the other two lights. So this is the basic difference between copying and instance in Twinmotion. So in this particular case also, I would like instance copying only. And let's see how many lights more we need to provide. So I want to provide two more lights. I quickly drag and drop to this location. The next thing would be adjusting the properties of this light. So once I select any of the IES light, since this is an instance, so I need not to do for every one of it. So you can adjust the color temperature, the intensity also can be changed. Attenuation is the spread which is happening. So if I increase the attenuation, spread will be more. And if I decrease the attenuation, it will be to a particular area only. Cone angle is this angle which is the spread. So you can decrease the cone angle from here and your light source will just spread to that particular cone area only. I'll increase the attenuation. So likewise, you can adjust your properties of the light from over here. The shadows is, if you enable the shadows, or the elements which are placed directly below that particular light will have shadow now. If I disable it, it will not create a shadow. So you can just keep it on if this seems natural to you. The other is haze. If I click on haze, you can see the path of the light is more clear and it's like it has become a little bit of foggy. So you can adjust the properties of haze from the sliders below. The next thing which you might notice is the lightings are quite revealing, but the interior lighting is not that bright. If I just decrease the exterior lighting by going into the ambience, and if I change the time of the day to night, you can see that the brightness is not evenly spread. In order to cater such kind of situations, you generally provide area light inside that will just be kind of brightness inside your room. So I have placed one of the area lights. You can adjust its position and you can increase or decrease the length by tweaking the properties on the right hand side. Yes, I would like to, if you are not happy with the intensity, you can decrease the intensity of your some of the lights, or you can provide a value to it. So that's it for this complete Twinmotion in Revit tutorial. I hope this video helped you to understand the workflow from beginner to advanced level, including the live syncing within Revit, editing of the materials, setting up scenes, and videos and the overall visualization process. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends or colleagues, and subscribe to ArchiTools for Revit and BIM architectural visualization tutorials. Also, let me know in the comments what topics you want me to cover next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.